again, compliments to everyone that worked through the downpours the other night. I know we had many people out patrolling, cleaning, and removing debris. Unusual rain. Everyone did a fine job, and we're still working on it. Crystal, can you give us just a little update on Ashland Carpenter Drive issue?
Yes, sir. So, I'll take my mask off so folks can hear me clearly. With Ashland, which is primarily an alleyway / throughway for local traffic for homes, there was a collapse of the road due to heavy rain and water washing underneath the asphalt and settling of the sediment underneath. We have marked that area off. We also have had some damage along Route 18, which is also known as Carpenter Drive. There's been some buckling and separation of the pavement from the subbase and some settling of the sediment underneath, which I know there was a collapse or significant settling a few years ago where there was significant repairs made. We're working with VDOT to have them come out on Monday and do inspections of the storm damage of those areas and give us recommendations on repair. Those will be done as emergency repairs, given that they are unplanned infrastructure needs at this time. We'll be working to address those in conjunction with VDOT and our city engineer with CHA. And hopefully we can get some traffic flows back to normal there very soon within the next coming weeks. Right now, Route 18, which is also Carpenter Drive, is one lane and that there are 2 stop signs. And we ask that you proceed with caution on a certain stretch there. We have police out also signaling and trying to help direct traffic. We hope to get some better directional signs to assist with that in the next few days. But again, proceed with caution on Route 18.
And that's right past the intersection of Ashland and Route 18, just before you get to Cedar Hill Cemetery going south.
Yes.
Yeah. One other thing I would like to ask, I guess we would be asking the city manager, and it's me asking, not council, and council, it's open for discussion. We had serious flooding, especially in the downtown foot of Town Hill toward Main Street area, which is the oldest part of Covington. We've got some serious infrastructure issues in that area. I was wondering, with President Trump has often talked about infrastructure issues, if there might be some sort of federal grants available that could help us, especially with some of the drainage issues and some of the sewer line issues because of the stormwater getting into sewer lines, and that's causing overflows at the sewer plant. I think they weathered pretty well this time considering what they had to face. I know they had to work hard to do what they did.
So as you will know, DHCD actually has federal, it's a combination of federal and state dollars that are available for localities once they enter into consent orders to do upgrades to their stormwater and wastewater systems. Mr. Bryant and I have been trying to explore that with DHCD. It's a combination of DHCD and ARC funding, Appalachian Regional Commission. So we are actively trying to pursue that, but it is contingent on actively being under an executed, fully finalized consent order. So that is one option that we have looked at.
Aren't we under a consent order?
We've signed the consent order. It was sent back to the DEQ offices. It did not make it onto the June agenda. The Richmond consent order was on the June agenda, so now we're targeting August, September. So they've now advertised it, and it's in public notice right now for the 6 weeks. So it has moved forward to public notice period, which DEQ has taken care of doing the public notice on that.
So our consent order that will be addressed in August, September.
It will be up for the DEQ board.
But the public comment part has already opened?
The public comment part is open.
And how do you just go to DEQ's website?
They have a website or within the various newspapers that they advertise in, which are normally Richmond-based papers because that's where the headquarters is.
But public comment is open, and find out how to make public comment, then anybody from Covington can make a public comment about that. Well, that's good information.
And
I
I will
appreciate
also
that.
say, with the Jackson Street grant, which I know everyone's aware of, that is also a community development block grant, we had completed the resident assessments. The number one theme that came out of all those door-to-door assessments was drainage and generalized quality of life infrastructure improvements, whether that was sidewalk extensions and really number one, drainage. So that's also what we'll be submitting as the priorities for the construction improvement grant for that area as we proceed with that. I met with Mr. Steele on, oh gosh, the days run together now, on Tuesday morning, and we discussed that grant and several other infrastructure needs and starting to do the smoke testing I&I. Also having him work with us on developing some process improvements for our flushing program. As you know, we use our jet truck and trying to address how we target the lines we flush. So, recognizing we do have some very aged infrastructure.
Yes. And I think probably this is as good a time as any to start seeking assistance.
Yes, sir.
My personal opinion is the job on Carpenter Drive is going to be costly, significantly. So we'll see what happens.
I know you and I had discussed probably what would be the best repair at this point, which yes, it will be costly because it will either involve a retaining wall or driving down pillars to retain the embankment. There was also discussion of trying to tie in another area of road that is nearby. I believe that's Edgemont.
Edgemont's got a small
slopes.
It's got small compared to Carpenter Drive, but it needs to be addressed too.
But
it starts at Edgemont and Grass is where that intersection's at.
Potentially, you know, being able to save on then mobilization fees if we're going to go ahead and be
if you're going to do one, you might as well do them together.
Might as well, and unfortunately it is unplanned, so once we get those costs and try to figure out the best way to engineer it in a cost-effective yet permanent long-term repair, or as long-term as possible, we will be coming for an appropriation request at that time, which means we will unfortunately have to tap into the fund balance.
Well, the reason we've increased our fund balance is for emergencies.
Yep, and this is a true emergency.
And we have some things in place that we'll have to address as we go forward with that, but we're going to have to go forward. We won't have a choice.
I would also like to say that with Phase 2 of Maple Avenue, when it starts addressing that one last block, it will also be tying in a new water line.
Phase 3.
No, Phase 2 is going to do a new water line in the one section where it's the block from the end of Main on down. It's just finishing that one last
to the river?
That's 3.
That's 3.
That's 3, so sorry.
1, we finished. 2, we're starting. 3's from Main to the river.
We're doing a new water line for it. We've already gotten all the materials. It was put into the design. It wasn't previously budgeted for under prior management, but we have found money in this year's budget to then use towards it. So that's one area where we're trying to then address infrastructure.
That goes toward our match on Phase 2.
Yes.
Okay. That's good. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, I was just wondering, if we listened to the governor yesterday, he said something about PPE and also sanitation things that we can get from Richmond. So can we look into that since we're running a little bit small?
Yes, we've been submitting our stuff through Web EOC, which is what the Virginia Department of Emergency Management uses. It's a web-based tool where we put in our requests, whether it's for masks, if we're low on sanitizers, things like that. We can't get them through our normal supply chain measures, and we've been doing that as well. The other thing I will say is yesterday I received, after the Roanoke County Allegheny Health District governmental call, a copy of the new draft Department of Labor standards during COVID, as folks return to work, as things change and evolve. And I do anticipate there being a significant cost where CARES dollars will be encumbered just based on the sanitation requirements or some of the guidelines where Department of Labor is still strongly promoting telework, remote work, rotating schedules, those sorts of things. So once we know that it's finalized, Mr. Bryant got a copy of that so he can start planning from a safety and risk management standpoint. So everything's still very fluid on all fronts, which makes it very difficult to plan and forecast.
Yeah, okay. Council, anybody else have any questions, concerns?